Cheers, radio.
Boom. We're back. Episode 73. It's pouring in LA. We're flooding. We're dying. We're not dying. But we got a special guest through all the weather. I've been trying to set this up for a little bit, but we're going back and forth and stuff. And it's perfect now, actually, the timing after the SAG Awards. Shakira Barrera. Did I say that right? Barrera? I think so. The post-production. Yeah, let me see. Bam. I wanted to get you on, and especially after the whole SAG Award thing. We'll get into that. But first, I kind of want to get a look inside your journey because I don't know your journey. You're originally from New York, right?
I'm from Jersey.
Okay,
You're
New
right,
York.
you don't.
Yeah, exactly. So Jersey. I want to know how the whole thing got to this point where we're at right now.
Well, I was born at 6:30 in the morning.
We're getting specific. Yeah.
How do I summarize this? This is always such a good. Do you suggest I start at?
I would say, when did you think you would have a life in the arts, or when did you start to do anything?
Oh,
since
I was 3 or 4. I just remember just always dancing in the living room.
You get down. I seen your videos.
Man, did
your
I
mom
wish
dance
I had
or something,
like
or your grandma or something? Or?
My mom loves dancing, but she cannot hold a beat. She has no rhythm. Ask her to clap on beat.
She can't?
You'll meet her. Do you met my mom?
No, I haven't yet.
Well, when you meet her, we'll say, Anita, where's the downbeat?
I'm a teacher, actually. I teach kids how to play drums, so I'll teach her to get the downbeat.
Rick, good luck. I'm so serious. No, really, she has no rhythm. She loves it though. So
she's the one who got kind of influenced to it, or
yeah, she's always loved it, and
so she's like, I'm gonna vicariously live through you.
Yes.
Okay.
And she was pregnant with me, and she took salsa classes, and my salsa teacher told her she was terrible. He was like, she's terrible.
Well, at least he's not lying to her. Yeah.
Hopefully she'll be better, and I was.
Yeah.
So just since I was little, I was doing salsa.
So you wanted to be like a professional dancer, or as a kid, you know what I mean? Because I don't know, like when I think about like me as a kid, I didn't really know what an artist was. Like nobody tells you like, oh, you can like do.
I feel like you and I are pretty similar. Every time you post a story on It's a Story, that's exactly how I feel. I feel like we possibly have had similar backgrounds, but it just literally is. I didn't know it was a job.
Yeah.
You know, like it's always fun, and you're.
I think a lot of it comes from our upbringing, right? Your parents are from Central American, right?
So Nicaragüense. My mom and my grandmother, who raised me, is Cuban. So I have two.
Really ostracized people.
Very much so. They're but supportive. So, but we just never knew it was a job, you know. And then I actually entered a contest to be a Fanta Girl when I was in college. I was 19 years old and I won. And there was.
You were the orange one, right?
I was the pineapple. They changed my name to Lily. I was on bottles.
What color
it was
is
a
that?
campaign.
Like yellow, yeah.
Yellow.
Yeah.
They dyed my hair. They flew
me
to
LA.
LA.
How'd you get that? It was just a random thing?
I was in college, and I remember seeing this, and it was such a fun contest, and the commercials just kept going on TV.
Wanna Fanta?
Yeah, we're looking for the 4th Fanta Girl. Wanna Fanta? Don't you wanna? And it was like, I was like, yo, I could be. Those were the only girls, honestly, that I remember being Latina.
They were diverse. You were like,
yes, and all different colors. They were all Latina, all diverse, and I just remember being like, this new campaign, there was a white woman, an African American woman, and a Latina. I was like, maybe they'll take me. Like I kind of look indigenous, you know, Central American art. We look a particular way.
Pan American or something?
Yeah, we, you know, the different types of casting that we have. But I ended up doing this 1-minute video where I had to sing, act, and dance in this 1 minute.
Sign me up, baby.
Man, I was like, I'm gonna give it to you all. And the editing, we edited. Oh my God, my friend's little sister. And then we ended up going.
What year is this?
Further and further. 2009.
So it was like a running.
It was a nationwide contest held by Coca-Cola Company, and that was.
It's funny. I worked at Coca-Cola Company in the marketing team for 5
Rick,
years.
I'm telling you, we're probably like.
So weird. Yeah,
I know. I feel like I've known you forever too. That's why.
Every time I talk to you, I feel like
we just met in class.
Yeah, I want to say we just had a lot of mutual friends.
We did. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, and even mutual friends. She was like, "You'd love Shakira," like Stephanie would say that.
And I was like, "You love Stephanie."
Yeah. I was like, "I know Stephanie." So you're in this running, and you get this running. What's going through your head? You're like,
So
I'm a
top
Fanta
3,
girl.
they flew me out to LA for the first time, and I
Hollywood.
was in college.
Mama, we made it.
Honey. And then I talked to the dean of Rutgers, and she was like, Shakira, you have too many absences. Like after 8, you get a D. It's just like the dance program is so strict. I was in a conservatory. I got my Bachelor of Fine Arts in dance. And she was like, you cannot.
But you got it.
I did, but I convinced them. I was like, this is what the opportunities that we want
Yeah,
right
you guys
now.
are preparing me
Yes,
for this.
It's just that it freaking happened right now,
Yeah.
you know? And I will promise to talk about Rutgers and bring Rutgers back. And that's exactly what's happening now, 2019, where I'm supposed to go to this alumni celebration thing. And I was like,
circle.
you guys got me. I
Yeah.
got you now. Like,
I'll take care of you.
yes, thank
Yeah.
you for supporting me.
I saw you went back recently. You were back in Jersey, right?
Yeah.
And you went to like the little dance
I
academy.
did.
Or
I went to
whatever.
Amarilis. That's where I used to dance. So I was
And
looking
those little girls.
so emotional because
Of course, it's gotta be
I
overwhelming.
went back. Oh my
Memory in
God.
there.
Just like, first of all, it's like a time vortex. The space has not changed.
Yeah.
The woman just got new rugs because there was a leak.
Yeah.
But it's like going
They got
back to
ruined. They had to.
1994. Like I remember those times so vividly. But when I went to the classes, I think I went to 3 different classes, 3 different age groups, and the girls just looked exactly like me. Just indigenous, Central American. Some of them were Cubana, some of them were more negrita. And I'm just looking at them and I'm like, they need to know that you can totally, if you're interested.
Yeah.
Not because, you know, your mother's putting you,
Yeah.
because most of us, you know, our moms just put us in there
Yeah.
to do something.
Go do something. Yeah. Go.
We don't want to
save the
take
fam-
care
yeah,
of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Go and explore that and get some exercise.
But to chase your curiosity.
Right. So I went in there and I was like, listen, I didn't know that this was a job. It is a job.
No one
Look
told
at
me.
Yeah, no one told me. So I'm here to tell you,
Yeah.
like, this is a job and you can totally do it if you want to. And it was just like looking
And you
at,
can make real money.
yeah. And you can, I was telling them that. I was really honest.
yeah.
And my dance teacher was like, they're 13, Shakira.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, but I'm just
I'm
being
giving it to you real,
honest.
man. You trying to make it or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, this was me. Nobody was honest with me. So, you know, I always feel like a responsibility to go back and be like,
I think we were supposed to, because I had a cousin write to me on like social media, and I had never really thought of it, and she said something about like I'm so happy for you, but not only for you, but for all the little boys and girls that were just like you. And I had never, you know, they were like, have the dreams that you have,
right,
you know, because they've seen my whole journey, and I'm like, yeah, man.
And you've
like,
been doing this since how long?
it's been like 09 is my first acting class when I started.
Wow.
But I was doing music before that. I
Right.
thought I was gonna be a rock star. That's what I thought.
You
I was gonna
still
be.
can.
I mean, I guess it can be.
Yeah.
It's a little exhausting now, though. I'm not trying to party. But yeah, it's just the mere possibility. You know what I mean? Because your parents come here from like another country, and they're just kind of like, we're gonna do whatever we can, hustle whatever we can to put you here and to give you all the tools you need. And then,
Yeah.
you know, we're like almost like the first real wave, I would say. 80s babies, 90s babies, you know what I mean? Like there's a real wave of like immigration that happened, and like now you're seeing these people grow up and have like careers and in media and the
And
arts
some
and
of them
whatever.
didn't even go to college.
I didn't go to college.
There
you
you
know?
go.
I mean, I tried, and I was like, this ain't for me.
You're like, it's too expensive.
Yeah, it was just, you know.
I'm still paying.
Really?
Yes, I'm still paying my student loans.
How much was the debt when you walked out of the school?
I think maybe 20, something like that. Not.
Not too bad. It's a car, but you know, that's just crazy that they
Yeah.
punish students for doing the right thing. I always think.
Yeah.
about that.
Also, with the alumni thing, I'm like, can you waive
For
some of
real.
that?
You know my fees, my speaking fees. You know, so you get this Fanta thing, and then what happens after that? You get flown out here. Are you thinking like I'm gonna be doing this
So
or
Chili from TLC was one of the judges, and it was like the first.
starstruck? Like, oh shit.
Man, I was like, and I remember, I'll never forget this girl's name, Destiny Moniz, Hawaiian Barbie doll. Like, Rick, when I saw her, I'm like, I lost.
Shit.
I was like, memory.
Memory.
I'm done. I'm done. No matter if I
Yeah.
shake my
Yeah,
ass as much
yeah.
as I could. This woman was just gorgeous.
And she was good too.
So my thing is, I always just like first when I was younger, I would just look at appearance because that's what that's the only
what you
comparison
sold.
that I had was
Yeah.
you have to look like this. So I was like, oh, well, she looks like she would fit in,
And in a sense, you're right, and to a certain extent.
especially back
That's
then.
what I'm saying. And in a sense,
Especially
you were
back
right.
then.
But there's one thing that can't be, done with just looks, and that's talent. Like talent, you can,
Yeah.
you know, even if you're the prettiest girl, like or whatever.
And also personality.
Yeah, totally. But she's not a.
She was no, she. We didn't see each other's auditions, but I just remember that lit a fire under me, and I was like, you know what? I have to work really hard.
Yeah.
And I just went to the corner, and I remember they did full hair. It was the first time I ever got full hair, makeup, and that I would speak. I never used my voice. I was dancing for so long that now these people are like, well, you need to read these sides and you need to sing. And I'm like, what? So I went to the corner, and I just remember being like, this is your opportunity. You are here. And they ended up surprising me.
That's a good little pep talk, though.
Yes.
A lot of people would buckle under that pressure.
Yes,
You know?
but I think it was the first time I put on my big girl panties, and I was like, this could really be an opportunity.
What do you think you got that from?
Man, I think just honestly, it's in our genes.
yeah, for sure.
Totally 100%. That
sure.
comes from my mom, my dad, somewhere in the Inca blood.
Yeah,
That's why we're
yeah.
here. And we,
Nice.
you know, but I also think that it's experience and your like mini. I was reading this article that says we all have like multiple personality disorder, and that a personality is just a figment of our imaginations, and it doesn't exist.
Kinda like what
Everybody
our
just
acting
has,
is.
yeah,
You know?
and everybody just has mini versions of them. Like I would tell you certain things, but I wouldn't tell you the same things I would tell my mom or
Yeah.
Steph. So
Yeah.
these mini
you're
personalities come
saying.
out.
Yeah.
And I think that like that's
Under
the
that
first
pressure.
time I created like the boss personality that was like,
I'm
okay,
fucking doing
yeah,
this.
and no matter what happens, you know that you tried your hardest. So I knew like the value of working hard
Yeah.
and being like, no matter how pretty she is, if I outwork her, I know I can do this. I know I can do it. And then I won. They came to my school.
I knew it.
Freaking won, dude.
They
And
came to your school?
they came to my school, and the dean and everybody. Okay,
All of a
this is-
sudden,
this is the
all of
tea.
a sudden.
So I didn't join a sorority when I was at Rutgers. I didn't have time, but there was a fraternity there, and I loved those guys. I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
partied all the time. We had a huge party after I won, and the chasers were Fanta pineapple. So the entire
so dope.
frat party just had like Fanta pineapple everywhere. It was like my bottles and like just like
And you're there,
you
the
know,
Fanta girl, like,
and I'm
what's
like,
up?
I never, and it was just such a like kick in the butt to be like, wow, you didn't even think you were the prettiest,
Yeah.
and you can still do it.
And you're there. And you're there.
You know,
doing it,
and
yeah.
not a single thing. Like that was the first time I was like,
And you
know
were out
what?
here in LA, and then they went back to your school to tell,
They
and then
flew
they
me
back.
to Santa Monica to do the audition and and then they flew me
damn.
back, and then yeah.
So it was like you were already a few rounds in when they flew you in.
yes,
Okay.
it was like top 100, then top 50, then top 10, then top
You're like,
3.
holy
It was-
shit, I'm getting closer and closer.
And because I went to Rutgers, a lot of people voted for me, and I like convinced the dean and all my dance friends. I mean, it was like
Smart. That's, you use what you got. You guys use the tools that you got. Those are
it
your
was
first
like
fans.
yes, and it was the first time that seriously when it was the first time that I proved to myself that I could do this, even though I didn't look like everybody else.
That's always been my thing. I've always feel like I've been competing against myself, where I'm like, I can fucking do this. You know what I mean? Instead of like competing against anyone else or anything. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I guess a lot of it is just such a mindset, because I even talk about it here so many times. Like, I feel like people end up in positions that they're not necessarily qualified to be in, to be nice. You know what I mean? Like, they're just not as good as somebody else, but their confidence is so fucking good
Yeah.
that if you're so sure, other people become sure of you. Like when they're like, "Damn,
Right.
this person's sure," and I feel like that's a large component of it.
Right.
Not defeating yourself, walking into whatever. Or
Yeah, and I also think like as people of color
Yeah.
and you know people who speak another language whose parents are immigrants,
Yeah.
you know, we have a little bit of imposter syndrome, and we go to these rooms, and it happened to me with Glow. I walked in and I was like, these women did a whole season 1 without me.
Yeah.
It was so successful. I was not here.
Yeah.
You know, they got nominated for this, and now who do I think I am to walk up in here? Like, I
what you're
didn't
saying.
know what personality to put on. And that's been most of my journey, is like just being like, you belong here. You are a student.
Same.
You will not go up to anybody and like, you know, beat your chest out and be like, I can do this. You just earn everybody slowly. You work really hard. And that's what people remember the most.
You know, it's so funny. I was just talking about that because I feel like a lot of the political movement needs to be that way in life. Like, there's a place for, you know, being loud and hanging your fists up and doing your thing. There's people that do that, but I feel like even people like us that are in the arts or have a voice to speak. You know what I mean? There's a much more subtle way to go about things, and doing things the right way. I just feel like you get a lot further. Just, you know what I'm saying? You can't walk around being like, this is my fucking thing. It's art. Because I feel like that's what's happening right now. Like the climate's so like, it's so extremely polarized.
Yeah.
It's so polarized that it's just like, I feel like everybody's got to give up their position a little bit on both sides. You know what I mean? And just kind of meet in the middle and be like, let me hear you out.
Yeah.
You know, let me hear you out. You hear me out, and whatever.
Yeah.
Have that exchange, that empathetic exchange of like, hey man, we have a lot of the similar shit, you know, and just being like, let's do things the right way and be the best versions of ourselves. 'Cause that's all you really can do is just be the best version of yourself.
I agree, and but I also think, you know, not to shut you down, but I think that's extremely like positive of you, and not everybody in this world. And I've met my friend's mother is, you know, a Trump supporter, and we got into multiple conversations, and it's just her morals and her faith and the way she lives her life is completely different from mine. So I don't think it's a matter of not wanting to meet in the middle. It's you know, really understanding where that person is coming from. But sometimes you just have been doing something for so long.
It's ingrained.
It's ingrained until it affects you personally. Yeah. That's when people react, I feel, but unfortunately.
Yeah, and I agree. But I think a lot of times to get to that place, you have to kind of like have some kind of empathetic exchange or something. You know what I mean? And I don't mean like everybody, because there's a place for everything. There's a place for the, hey, you know, we're going to go march and we're going to do this. For me, I'm not that person. I was at one point, but now I feel like I've tried different things. I'm just trying to change my approach on how I at least can make some sort of change. You know what I mean?
Okay. So is that what you want to use your acting and leave a little bit of legacy behind in that way?
Not necessarily legacy.
Do you want people to know where you stand? Like where's
Yeah, absolutely. I guess what I'm trying to say is like, I want to be able to give my message without feeling like force feeding people. And I feel like that's what's happening a lot. A lot of people are trying to force feed things down people's throats, and nobody's going to take it that way. Like,
so would you say the Latin American for Dummies, John's Netflix?
I haven't seen it yet. Oh my God. I heard it's phenomenal.
Well, this would be a great, I thought it was great, but I was interested to see if you thought he was shoving it down in a clever, creative way.
But I feel like that's the way to do it, in a clever, creative way, through an art, like almost like through your work, right?
Okay, and then
because if you think about like when you're, you know, if say for example, if you're acting, right, and you're in a movie and you're something, it doesn't matter who's watching it. If you go deep into your heart, that person's gonna go with you,
totally,
and have some kind of weird, different feeling about. I feel like stories are the way that change people. Like they see a movie and they're just like, I completely feel different about whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
You know, and the stories we tell, we just got to do it in a clever way instead of being like, hey, I'm going to change your mind. And then people already put up their walls. They're like, I don't want to fucking have my mind changed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's both. I don't know. There's a million different ways to get change. But we're getting off in tangent. So that all happens, and then what? Do you move out here, or what's happening?
So I graduated school in 4 years. I don't know how I finished,
Impressive.
but I did in 4 years, and then I moved to LA, where I was managed by my best friend from high school. I met her at 14, but she moved out here. She didn't go to college, and we just did the thing, and it was really hard. We lived together. We were roommates, and she would tell me how to live my life, and she's like, that's not what you do. And I'm like, you just got here. So it was navigating that, and now she still manages me to this day, but she's the one who like got me into commercials, and I never had to, thankfully, thank the Lord that I never had to get another job. I just started doing commercials because I worked when I was younger. Yeah. I worked at Rite Aid. I worked at Walgreens. I sold vacuums. I've been working forever. So the fact that I could come here and actually make money off of the acting was like,
I feel like a lot of it too is like you put yourself in that pressure, and you'll figure it out.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
Totally.
Because when I jumped into this shit, I was like, I'm going 2 feet in. Fuck it, no exit plan.
Yeah.
And I figured it out somehow. You know, there's some hard times. Like you'll hit some ramen nights.
You really need to want it.
But that's exactly how. That's when you realize. That's how you realize if you want it or not. Because you know, you get to a point where like shit's. You know, you're staring at the ceiling at night, thinking like, "What the fuck am I doing?"
Yeah, yeah. And or you move away from home and you don't have anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're just like, "What the hell did I do? I left everything."
Yeah, yeah. They don't have a support system.
Yeah, that's the hardest. You need to have that. If you don't have that, I really think you can do it, but it's quite difficult to
You
go
need somebody
on.
to even just say it, like, today was a fucked up day.
Yeah,
all right?
somebody who's gonna freaking listen,
Yeah,
you know, to how your silly industry
Yeah.
complains.
For real, some first world problem shit. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like, it's your world.
Yeah.
You know, it's your world. So you start just kind of hustling out here, and then at one point, do you think like you get to a point where you're like, all right, like this is it. This is what I'm doing for good, or were you already just all the way in?
I think I've always been on the go. I was talking to my mom the other day, and my boyfriend always tells me to breathe. He's like, just breathe, just breathe, just
That's
slow
essential
down.
American thing.
Huh?
That's essential American thing. You just fucking
Yeah.
go. You
And
know?
then the other people are like, it's okay. It's going to be fine. And I'm like, no, it's not going to be fine. Like, you don't understand. I need to have this in line. And then this is my plan. And then this. So I was talking to my mom about that. I'm like, do you think he's right? Do you think I just need to just chill out, you know? And it's funny. I obviously have my own opinion on it. But what was interesting that she said, my mom was like, that has always been you, and that's what got you here to this point. If it is not driving you insane and you are not losing your, you know, sanity, then it's fine, because look at how far you've come. This is a big
That's your
accomplishment, which,
engine.
you know,
Yeah.
our parents don't tell us that they're proud very often.
Ever.
So that's how I knew. I was like, okay.
Isn't it weird? Like, I don't know what that is.
You know what? I think that's the best type of parenting. I was thinking about it the other day. How easy would it be to just tell your kid that he's great?
Yeah.
How hard is it to,
Rookie mistake.
you know, I know I saw that. How hard is it to tell, you know, your kid that you're not proud when you really are, but you just want them to keep working harder? So that's what I've been noticing about my mom
makes
lately,
sense.
is just, you know, and we're getting these parts where we have to play parents and analyze what
Step
it's
into
like.
your parents' shoes, you know. Kinda.
100%. So I've been watching her more and observing her more and trying to understand her.
Yeah.
And we're just getting along so much. So I'm totally on her side on this. I'm like, no, I shouldn't relax.
Yeah.
I'll relax when, you know,
I mean,
it's,
she knows you're probably better than anyone else.
yeah, and
So-
it's the right, and when it's the right time, I can, you know, take a step back.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Not yet. There's a lot of work to do. You're done. It's like
Lot of work.
This is the beginning. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Right now. So your show got nominated. You're on Glow on Netflix, which is phenomenal. It's a great show.
yeah, it's so fun.
It's got to be fun as
Yeah,
shit
it's
to be
so
in.
fun.
And it was so tight. I should actually pull it up. I was
You should. We should see it. It's hard to describe. It's very difficult.
You guys all got nominated. What was the nominations for?
So we got for stunts. We got nominated for stunts and outstanding ensemble in a series. And then we were up against our wonderful Mrs. Maisel that has kicked our ass in every category.
It's phenomenal. I haven't seen it yet.
really am a fan of the show. I really like it a lot.
It's about comedy, right? I haven't seen it yet. Wow, motherfucking. It was the SAG Awards, right?
Yes, you could put images.
Let's see.
That was 2018, but
Oh, there it is. There it is.
2019.
I felt
Yeah.
this is what I meant. This is what I meant by like subtlety, right? Because I
Funny.
feel like this is subtle, but it's not at the same time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that, a little fucking girl is gonna see that and be like, "Holy shit!
Yeah.
Look at her." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've gotten so much response.
Where'd you get the idea?
From the war, from what's been going on, you know, and I live with my mom, so seeing her watch the news every morning, you know, now there's 400,000 people unemployed in Nicaragua. There's 50,000 refugees that have come here to Costa Rica, to Spain. There are
They're leaving. They're just trying to go.
750 in jail. There's 500 dead. I mean, and most of them are students.
Yeah,
How can I go to an award show and just think about beauty?
exactly.
That was what I was, you know, and I honestly, I'm so shocked at the response because first of all, my following has grown so much, but aside from the following, it is the messages and the words, orgullo nicaragüense.
Yeah.
Gracias por darnos una voz a nosotros, que la gente no nos están escuchando aquí, auxilio, like just so much from Nicaragua. And you know, it was scary, you know, because
It's
if
weight.
you know what happens to them if they show the flag, they get thrown in jail.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Ortega has made
it's
it
like a dictatorship, right?
illegal to protest and illegal
Yeah.
to show your patriotism.
And they haven't,
Imagine
like-
if we did that here and we got thrown in jail. This would be a shit show.
And he's trying to stay in there. I guess he's not a dictator yet, but he's like pretty
And
much
his
is.
wife is the vice president, essentially.
Okay,
So he has the family all in
It's all
on
a
it.
monopoly,
So
yeah.
it's, it's just, I had to, at this point, when I went to Nicaragua last year, I worked with this organization there, Pajarito Azul, and I saw the kids. They're disabled, ages 0 to 50. And I met a 5-month-old baby that looked like, a 5-year-old baby that looked like she was 5 months. So they all have paralysis.
Yeah.
They can't move, their limbs.
Malnutrition, a lot
Yes,
of stuff. Yeah.
I went there and I felt such a sense of like, honestly, besides, pain, I felt home. Like,
That's such a strange thing, right? You're
home.
like, oh, I feel like you're amongst your tribe.
yes,
And then it's still like you're almost like an outsider, but they're just like, whoa.
because I'm an underdog too.
Absolutely.
So that's why,
yeah.
I just saw them and I'm like, wow, you just haven't had a fair shot.
Fuck no.
And like what?
It's a nation full of
know?
people without fair shots. You know what I mean?
Yes, and when I went to Nicaragua, that's what I felt is like these people, they have no sense of honor.
It's been robbed from them.
Robbed, and I just feel like I, as a Nicaraguense American, I might not have been born there, but my mom is from there, my dad is from there, my dad still lives there. I only received 3 messages that were not good that I saw with my own eyes, and it was just along the lines of
It's the 1%.
me not living there, but the rest were just like, thank you for this voice, and for people to say that,
Yeah.
because
And that's what I mean. Like using your voice. Just you're here. You know what I mean? And here, right in quotes.
yeah,
But just know I see it because I go to El Salvador. I haven't been in a while. It's been a long time. But I have a lot of family, aunts, uncles, cousins. My dad has a house out there. He's got coffee fields. I mean, it's like a deep connection. We talk to him a lot. I have cousins. I mean, just all the family. And when even getting out there, or they're just like, man, like they look at you like the definition of possibility, even without doing anything. This is before I've gone before I was even acting or anything. Like they're just like, damn, like I could be there one day, or I could have this one day, or I could have that. And then you just look around. And that's another thing too. Like when you go there,
it's survival of the fittest out
and
there.
how happy are they too, though, with having nothing?
They are. It's just, it's a sense of they are happy, but
It's not a good living. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
But-
like it's hard to.
But they make the best of what they have.
yes,
The nothing that they have.
They do, but they need more.
Absolutely.
They need more. They need more music,
Yeah.
more culture,
Yeah.
more arts, and
That's what heals.
that was the beginning of why I wanted to do this as well, because in the future I see myself having friends. I have many, many, many friends in the dance industry because that's where I started, is bringing them over there,
Beautiful.
teaching, opening up some sort of
The arts.
school or program or something. There's nothing there,
Yeah,
Rick.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how sad is that when, Hurricane Maria happened in Puerto Rico? How many celebrities came to support them?
Yeah.
Now this is happening in Nicaragua. There is nobody. There is nobody.
Yeah.
And we don't have unity across Latin American
That's
countries.
my biggest. I think that's the biggest fucking thing, right? And especially here in Hollywood, because people will be like, "Oh, I'm Mexican American. I'm Salvadoran American. I'm Nicaraguan." I'm like, "Listen, motherfuckers, to the world, we're all Latinos. That's it." You know what I mean? And you gotta just learn that we all gotta help each other out. It doesn't matter where the fuck you're from. We're all representing the same type of cause, the same, ostracized people or pushed aside people or being overlooked or whatever. That's a change coming now, but it's still the beginning. But a lot of it, because you see it with different races and nationalities or whatever, they link up, right? The African American community has done a wonderful job of doing that, of bringing their whole industry together, right? Asians are starting to do it really well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Latinos can take a page out of that notebook and take some notes and help each other out instead of, I think it's because we're raised with such a competitive nature amongst one another.
Yeah.
And
And we've all been raped separately.
yeah, for real.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
as a
yeah,
collective, the Black
yeah.
community has suffered in unison, and we've
Yeah.
suffered separate.
Absolutely. Oh, that makes total sense.
They've suffered something together.
Ah.
And this is like, we've been colonized, but and we've created Afro-Latinos. We've created like all these separate communities. And, the industry does a really good job of keeping us in that category.
And that's
keeping
why I
us
don't like
in
labels
those, like,
either. That's
Yeah.
what I think this whole, and I'm gonna get heat for this maybe,
Yeah.
but even like right now with like people's preferred gender or whatever, I'm like, you guys are creating more labels. You're giving the power to the wrong thing. The thing that you're trying to run away from, you're empowering more by just creating more labels, because you're giving the label the power instead of being like, I don't think the label is the fucking issue, right? It's the way it's a social issue. It's a cultural issue. It's not a issue of grammar.
I see what
I
you're
mean?
saying there, but I had I was raised by my Cuban grandmother, and I had cousins, 10-year-old cousins, and now with what's happening with being pansexual and women associating themselves as they as a pronoun, that's similar to the conversations that I used to have with my 10-year-old cousin when I was 15, and he didn't know what it was. And I think that by having those labels, they can associate themselves with something. And I see what you're saying about creating more, like we're going against, we're doing what society wants us to do. I see that, but I think that it's possibly because they didn't have anybody to look up to, and they've created their own superhero, in a way, like how I created mine. I created my own by doing it. Like those women, those men, they're suffering in their own ways, and they had to create a sense of community. And I think that it's more about that
And
than about
I'm not against that.
society.
I just mean like,
I know you're
now,
accepting of it also.
yeah,
because
there's
you have
just there's
friends that
extremes of it now.
totally.
You know what I mean? There's
I know what you mean.
38 labels, and I'm like, okay, well, this is.
Yes, I know what you
We
mean.
we can't expect the entire world. Like, I'm just being realistic. I'm not
Yes,
trying
yes.
to go against. I'm like, we can't expect the entire.
No, I know
How do
you
we
are
change this?
supportive of LGBTQ.
How do we change this where we make you feel included, but we don't also like, because if you look at somebody, say for somebody who's super conservative, right? You put yourself in their shoes and you start throwing all these, they're going to lose their fucking mind when you throw all these labels at them. They're going to be like, what? I have to change what? Going back to things are so deeply ingrained in people, right? They're going to be, I have to change this. It's like, how do we get a way where we can still give you your identity and have it be a way where it's like we can seamlessly mesh it into the fabric of society.
It's hard. It
is difficult. We're still in a searching phase.
and also
I don't have the answers. I don't know.
And also with Trump now, he doesn't support the LGBTQ, so they're coming strong. I feel like it's more just like, how many of us are there? Let's hit him in the face. You're hitting us. We're at a war right now. What's going on in the country? So I think it's an
important time, because that's why I'm actually, I've said this before. I'm actually glad that Donald Trump won, because it lit so many fucking fires, right? It turned on so many, we now realize the political issues we have, right? So many people were dormant, right? If we would have gotten Hillary, not much would have changed like we want to. Yeah, it would have been a lot better, but would we get the uproar that we got now, right? Where people are involved in politics and people are empowered, like, fuck it, I have to get in there. I have to do something, because like you look at like somebody like Alexandria Ocasio, right? Who she's like, fuck it, I'm getting in there. And I feel like
first Puerto Rican Latina to be in Congress.
You think that would have happened if Trump wasn't there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really
He's a
bringing
change
out
agent.
our leaders of this generation 100% what's going on. But I do not wish that man would have been there.
I mean, I don't like it. I fucking do not like it.
I just wish that he would get impeached.
It's rough.
I really do. I think that it's really difficult when you're in a position of leadership and you don't like people. You don't like different types of people.
I think it's a direct reflection of what America truly is, though. The majority of America.
Well, middle America.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's the majority of America, right? We're on the extremes. New York and California.
In
are the
our
extremes.
jobs,
we're surrounded by people who are progressive.
Yeah, and even when we audition for, network pilots for ABC, there's people whose jobs it literally is to say, will this attract Alabama?
Yeah.
Check.
Yeah.
I remember booking a pilot for ABC, and I had to have a Texas accent. And I'm like, do you see me?
Yeah.
I don't know if this is, we have what? I don't know if I didn't know what to do with that. And then I realized this is literally someone's job to make this, relatable. I did a pilot where it was basically, John Larroquette played my father, and I was supposed to be his daughter. So he had an affair with this Mexican woman And I was introduced into this white Texas rich family. And I remember being like, this is so funny. Like, this is so funny. This girl that's like just New Jersey, like New York.
How
and
ironic.
Like, and being like, what am I doing here? Like, this is, you guys clean horses assholes? Like, I'm not doing this. Like, where's the movies at?
I'm out. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I thought that juxtaposition was so great. And then I realized Hollywood wants a zebra, but they want a zebra with no stripes. They want, you know, they want the look and everything, but they're like,
Can we white you down a little bit?
yeah, can we white you down? Can we take away that stripe? I know we liked you
a
for
little
being
too
that
authentic for us.
special.
Yeah.
We liked you unique, but not that unique.
Yeah.
Let's just pull it back. And then they added the accent.
But that's
like,
I think that's
wow.
what happens a lot too. Like, you'll see a show, right? I've seen so many. Why do you think so many pilots don't go? I've seen so many projects that I'm like, damn, this could be so fucking cool.
Yeah.
But someone who's like some executive who knows nothing about fucking art, right? Or whatever. They're just, you know, they're a suit, right? Essentially, quote unquote, the suit, and they have to get their greasy little hands in there, and they ruin the project. Where you're like, man, this could potentially have been really dope.
Yeah.
But now you guys are, you know, doing.
And I
whatever
don't
you
want
think
people to get this twisted. Like, we're not just complaining. We totally
No.
do something about it. You
Absolutely.
know, like
Yeah.
I always think that we outwork anybody else in the room. You know, I know you in particular, but
Yeah.
you know, I just let all those things go. But it's just the reality of the industry, and
You
it
gotta talk
doesn't
about
mean
it.
that
Yeah.
we're gonna stop trying or
Yeah.
you know continue to make. But I'm just not in the place yet in my career where I can be a showrunner
Yeah.
and make these changes. You know,
And change is slow.
I'm looking to Gina Rodriguez to do that right now.
What a
who's in
boss ass.
Yeah, who's in
She's killing it.
who's in that position, or Amy Garcia, who called me the other day. She's writing Glow comics, and she said, "I want to do an episode on Yolanda." And I'm like, "How great! A
Fuck yeah.
Mexican writer that
Fuck yeah.
understands." And you're calling me and asking me what
You can
it,
be a superhero, yo.
yeah,
in a
that's
comic.
crazy, huh?
Dun, dun, dun. Nicaraguan superhero. That's
Yes.
so sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's the way it changes, right? Slow. It changes always gonna be slow.
Yeah, and I hope it's actually a change and not just a moment.
That's what I feel like a lot of the movement is right now for women, unfortunately. I feel like a lot of quote unquote white dudes, right? And I don't mean this like to fucking turn anybody off, but like that's who the war is against. And I feel like at the same time, a lot of dudes who are just good dudes, who are white dudes,
My boyfriend's white.
yeah, they're getting a bunch of shit for like just being white.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, no. Don't fucking point the gun at everybody.
Yeah.
Right? I forgot my fucking point. What were they saying? What did I say before that?
We were talking about
Bring me back.
Amy Garcia, Gina Rodriguez,
Fuck, it's
People in
gone, it's
Power, writers' rooms.
Yeah, well, it's gone. It's gone.
It's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess what I was trying to say is that people are pointing their guns in the wrong direction and attacking everybody, and it's just like, no, it's not the problem. You guys are. It's a cycle, right? The abused becomes.
Oh, you said women in Hollywood.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
The abused becomes the abuser.
My topic.
Thank you. I know, right? You're like, I don't know.
Like, what were you talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
women in Hollywood.
But it's like, you know,
Oh, God.
being like abused or subjugated or whatever. It's a cycle, right? It's just like, you know,
100%.
when you see it with child molesters, you see it with domestic violence, you see it with everything, right? Alcoholism, everything. It's a cycle, and I think it's our job to break the cycle. Yeah, I think right now what's happening is there's a lot of abuse going the opposite way, right?
Right.
Because so many people were so held down for so long. But I feel like that's what's happened. A lot of dudes are scared, right? They're super scared, but they're gonna come back.
Yeah.
Because right now nobody's gonna walk on eggshells for their whole life, right? And I feel like that's what a lot of people are doing, just to kind of be like, oh, let's not ruffle any feathers. Let's just
Right.
keep it cool, and it's
Right.
gonna come back. So I feel like there's got to be some give on both ends. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a little scared.
I mean, the point, Rick, is to get to equality.
Absolutely.
So I think that that's a really hard thing. You know, it's basically when we're at a pageant right now, and Steve Harvey's asking us, "What do you want for America?" And we're like, "Equality,
Yeah.
world peace." Like those things are very hard. You know,
It's
And
a complex issue,
and
Steve
hopefully
Harvey.
he crowns you and not
Yeah.
the wrong person.
Yeah.
But it's very hard what we're trying to do. So I think we are going to have a lot of back and forth and
Yeah.
a lot of war and a lot of disagreement.
Yeah.
And hopefully not too many more Trumps, but
No, I think there's gonna be one. I think people will get their dose, and if we're seeing what it is.
yeah, I
This
mean,
is
I
this
think
is
we're
the
stepping up to the plate as,
Yeah,
much as we can.
yeah.
But this is also why I wanted to do the Nicaragua statement, because I need people to know that it's okay to represent. It's
Yeah,
okay
yeah.
to speak loudly. It's okay to use these events and use our platforms
Because
that we
that's
don't know
loud.
when we're going to get again,
Because that's loud, and it's not like you're fucking yelling down the street,
Right.
And that's what I mean. Like it's loud. It's like they put you there because they're like, oh, this is a person. We should hear them speak. It's like, all right, cool. I have something to say,
Right.
motherfucker.
Yeah. And
Check
I've
it out.
been
This is what's
waiting
going
a
on.
long
Exactly.
time to, feel like I belong.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I found that in my statement, in my political statement. And
Yeah.
I didn't care what anybody
It's a cause.
really had to say because it's bigger than me.
Absolutely.
And the people who are going to be with you are going to be with you.
Yeah.
And the people who are going to be against you, it's okay. Just don't let it get to you. Just use it as a fire.
I mean, what are you
Just
gonna do?
use it.
You can't make everybody. If you're making everybody happy, you're not doing something right.
Right. I feel like men are way better at that, though. I feel like men are much more like, I can handle this. And I feel like women are a little bit more.
I think it's because it's been indoctrinated, right?
We get
Like,
heady. We
yeah,
get heady.
yeah.
We get, we let it emotionally affect us a little bit more.
I've talked about this. There's been studies shown that a lot of what the pay inequality gap is that men are just much more aggressive when they're asking for their raises, and that's been a thing for me too. Even as just as a minority, never being able to know your own self-worth and being like, "Fuck you, give me double," right? They're gonna offer you their bottom dollar, and with women are a lot more. They'll fight for their cubs.
Yeah.
Right. So like all my reps are women because they'll fight for their cubs. So except for my manager dude, but they fight for their cubs much harder than they fight for themselves. It's just a much more I don't know if it's a motherly thing or whatever is just programmed. I mean, of course it's malleable. We can change it, but I feel like a lot of it has to do with like women always just being more sacrificial, almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and not being like, oh, it's okay. I don't want to bother. Like, it's might be a cold. I don't know what the fuck it is, but I feel like it's a lot of it is just. Women have to like also know their worth, and it's hard. It's way easier fucking said than done, right? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I mean,
because you've been fed all this bullshit your whole life. You've just been given bad data your whole life. You've been given bad data, and now it's like shit. And it takes a lot to kind of climb yourself out of that hole and be like, yo, all right, this is gonna be weird asking for more for a while.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna fucking try it for a minute and see what happens. You know?
Yes.
It takes like a mental shift in a lot of ways.
But I think you also I always try to bring it back to a place where I can control the circumstances. So like I always pull it back to how much harder can I work. So
because that nobody can deny you that when you work hard.
Exactly. Or for example, Glow pays me a certain amount.
Yeah.
And it's pilot season. I'm on a recurring contract.
Yeah.
If I book a pilot, which is the goal,
Yeah.
to book another pilot and
Yeah,
to
leverage, baby.
Yes,
Yeah.
and to have a show that's, more giving me more responsibility because the show that I'm on now has 15 women and 3 leads, 3 front runners,
It's fucking genius, by the way. It's a cool little project to be. I remember just seeing I haven't even gotten to your season yet.
Oh my God, you need to.
I finished the first one, and
I wouldn't have said yes to this if I knew you didn't watch it.
I haven't watched.
Damn, Robert
anything.
watched it, and you
Robert did
watch
watch it. What's up, Robert? Robert's our editor.
Wow.
You know how hard it is to watch all my. I watched High and Mighty. High and Mighty.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Oh my God, the most embarrassing thing happened that day.
What?
I
What?
talked about it here on the podcast. I ended up blacking out at dinner after we left that
How?
screen. I don't fucking know. I hit a joint, and I went inside, and I don't know what. I had just had like some crazy.
Was that
psychedelic-
joint laced?
No, I just had done like some psychedelic experience recently, right before that. It was like on a Monday, the screening or something. But everyone's fucking there. Jorge's there, JR's there. Everybody.
Oh
the
my
cast,
God.
the
Yeah,
director,
you guys
the
went to a
writer.
Mexican
Yeah,
restaurant.
on Cucos. And
Yeah.
I'm out for like 15 minutes. Everybody's flipping the
Wow.
fuck out. Chelsea's mom was calling her name. Oh my God.
What?
It was so intense. My lips
Oh my
blew up.
God,
It was
what?
crazy. so embarrassing.
Rick, what drug was this? So
I
I'd
don't
never do it.
know. Oh
my
That's
God.
why kids, you shouldn't experiment. Let me be this fucking guinea pig.
Yeah, don't
You don't
Be
want
rich.
you want to black out at dinner? Don't do it.
Yeah.
Well, we can go on
You
forever,
have to
but
watch
I
Glow.
want to. Yeah, I do have to. But it's I'm gonna watch it. I mean,
Yeah.
I've already watched the first season. I actually recently finished it. So it's time for some hot seat questions.
Oh.
We're gonna get some hot seat questions. Right? I need your answer like this, Bina. Like this. All right.
You don't have a timer?
No, but I'll have my mental timer. All right. If you have to pick, right? You have to pick. What other country would you have chosen to grow up, like excluding U.S. and Nicaragua?
Colombia.
Boom. Why?
Beautiful weather. They all speak Spanish, and the food
The food.
and the music.
Should have sing that.
I could dance salsa all day.
Okay. If you had $1 million right now, what would you invest in?
Real estate.
Boom. Easy answer.
Easy.
All
I
right,
was safe.
You've been thinking about this. All right. All right. It's a zombie apocalypse, and you have to get to LAX by foot from Hollywood. Who are the 3 people you pick to take this journey with you?
You, because you probably build some shit
I will.
on the street.
Good pick.
You probably get some wheels and make a skateboard that
Come
has
on,
a
hop
jet
on, guys.
attached to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some rocket power
Yeah.
shit.
Boom. We got one.
I would bring my boyfriend. If my feet got hurt, he'd give me a piggyback ride.
For sure. It's your responsibility, bro.
Hell yeah. And a freaking. Oh wait, we can only go by foot.
Yeah, we're going by foot.
Damn. Who would make me laugh on the way there? I feel like I would bring John Leguizamo.
Ooh, Leguizamo?
Yeah, I would bring him.
What's up, John Leguizamo? We surviving this baby or what?
John Leguizamo.
Okay, you have to wear the same thing for the rest of your life. What do you wear?
Jeans and a t-shirt, 100%.
What
No
color?
bra. What color?
Yeah.
Black.
Okay, black
Goes
on
with
black.
everything. Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. You passed the test. Just wanted to mix it up a little bit. Throw your hot seat question. Throw your curveball. But yeah. So you're recording the second season of
Third season.
Third season. Sorry, of Glow right
Yeah.
now. You guys mid production? How far are you guys?
We are on episode 8. We're more than halfway. So we're almost done.
Damn.
So,
I'm sure a lot of y'all out there have watched this show. It's fucking good. What is it? What is it? Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling.
yes,
Yeah.
Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling.
Yeah, wrestling.
It was an actual show in the 80s.
It's so fucking funny,
And
man.
it was tailored for children and
Really?
adults. Yes,
What's
because
Homeboy's name? The guy who plays the
Mark Maron.
He's God
Yeah.
damn it.
Have
he's
you
so
heard
good.
his podcast?
No.
WTF
Yeah, I know
Report?
of it.
Yeah.
I know he's one of the kings of the podcast.
Yeah.
But
Podcast guru.
yeah. But he's fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
in it. And
he's great. He's great. He's
That's
great.
kinda
He's
cool.
great. He's really great.
What's that whole experience been like?
It's been great. Like I said, I walked in and I was like trying not to put on this like
Yeah.
I got this.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
just walked in there and just
Hey, guys.
was a student.
Yeah.
And I learned and I watched. I went last for everything. We wrestled and trained for a month before shooting season 2. So we did the same thing this season. And I always just watch. I watch and I'm quiet.
Yeah.
And
I think that's the best bet. They've talked to I've listened to a lot of like billionaires, and they always talk about how their ability to practice going last, speaking last, always listening to everything, And I'm just
Totally.
like, that makes total fucking sense. At least you know the whole thing's laid out in front of you. Now you get to make your pick. you
Yeah,
know?
yes. And I use that too when I do. Well, I haven't done a commercial audition in a long time, but I always try to go last in my group.
Same.
So I can see what everybody else is doing.
I love commercials, man. They've been good to me.
Yeah, they've been good to you.
I do a lot of them. They're
They've
just,
been good to you.
man, as shit. As an artist, at least it's weird because you need like a lot of times you'll need some sense of validation, right? And like for me, I'm always like getting close doesn't mean you booked it, right?
Yeah.
And just fucking touching rim all the time can be frustrating, but it's a lot less frustrating when you got money coming in. When you're like,
Yes,
okay, cool,
of course.
fuck, I'm good. at
That's the
least.
goal, right?
Yeah.
Is to have something secure.
That's
and
what I always
then-
talk about. I'm like, what is success, right? What is success? Is it being a fucking millionaire, or is it not having a 9 to 5 or doing what you love?
I think
And
it's different for everybody.
absolutely,
Some people just have been striving to be happy their whole lives and
That's
have
right.
had it all, but
that's my point. Yeah.
they just
Yeah,
they
because you can
have the
you can have
mansion
all of it, and you
Yeah.
can, and I just feel like it doesn't mean anything if you haven't worked for it, or if that's why I almost like getting no's sometimes. 'Cause I'm like, cool, like I'm gonna use this, I'm gonna use
It's
that.
all about perspective.
Yeah,
That's the
absolutely.
word of the year, perspective.
Yeah, well, that's a
Is
good one.
how you can change that, negative thought into a positive
Yeah.
thought. Because it's the only thing that's substantial.
Yeah.
Or else we're just walking around experiencing things and not internalizing them.
And not even necessarily experiencing. I think a lot of people feel like life is happening to me instead of saying I'm happening to life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's a perspective shift. I
Yeah.
agree with that.
you can't just be a fucking punching bag and let
Right.
shit come at you. Sometimes you gotta be like, hey, I'm gonna go and do something and make a change and make
Yeah.
this. That's kind of what this whole thing's about. It's about becoming the best version of yourself and just kind of being like, okay, let me explore different people's journeys. Let me see what Shakira's journey was like. How did
Yeah.
she, you know what I mean? And maybe I can find some parallel because you're gonna hit bumps in the road. It's gonna be, it's not gonna be easy, and I don't think it would mean anything if it was easy. Maybe it would, but not as much. I feel like when you have to work for things, you have a deeper gratitude. You definitely know if you want it or not.
Our fight is a little bit more powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have something bigger to fight for.
Yeah. I always think about that. Little me's. I was so fucking lost as a kid.
Yeah.
I was just like, what am I gonna do? Like I was like, I'm really good at the drums, and they're like, well, it's not a good living. Like, you know what I mean?
It's difficult.
And if I could have stayed with that, I'm sure I could have made a living, but I just didn't.
Yeah, this career has no direction. There's no right way to do it.
No, and all those things help me now, right? I have a couple commercials where I'm playing drums in them, and I'm like,
Yes,
cool.
that helps.
You never know. I'm
And
always
people
like,
think that it's only about, I'm going to go to an acting class and I'm going to, work and really have a good job. But it's like, it's more than that. It's all your experiences and you learning from those experiences and becoming a better person and getting better, because God's not going to give you more if you can't handle what you got right now.
Yeah.
So it's about realizing, like, am I doing the best that I can with my money?
I also
Am
think
I doing the best that I can with my relationships?
Yeah,
Can I be a better friend? Can I be a better student? Once
all those different aspects.
Yes, once all of those things, once you start getting better, things will start opening because you'll have more room.
And I always say, how you do anything is how you do everything, right?
Yes.
So if you start working on this one thing, all the rest of your lives, and it's another thing I say, messy home, messy head. Right? If you like all of that, all these baby steps or like different parts of your life that you kind of have to manage and, I don't know, figure it out. We're about an hour in. Let's what do you got to tell people? What do you want to leave people off with? What's Shakira's message? Where's your mom get the name Shakira?
Venezuelan model. It was in a magazine.
Not
She
the
was
actual
on a
Shakira?
plane. No.
Okay.
No, she wasn't famous.
I knew that.
20-something years ago.
We had this conversation, but I'm just
I know.
playing the devil's
you know
advocate
how
here.
like it stabs me in the stomach.
I know.
though?
I know.
I'm always
That's
like,
why I did it.
I'm like, everybody's just.
Where's she from? Colombia, right? Colombia.
Yes, and she's still doing the damn thing, so people don't
Yeah.
forget.
She still looks amazing.
She looks great. She looks
Amazing.
great. I mean, it's
Great
definitely
genetics.
an icebreaker, but
Yeah.
Jesus, that
Yeah. Yeah.
that song will forever haunt me. It should be the podcast.
Isn't it weird? For real.
You should have. Actually, I would have walked right out. I would have just.
I'm
been like,
done. Fuck
I
this.
never really knew that she could.
Yeah, it's okay, but yeah, well, what do you want to leave people off with? What do you want to tell anybody potentially listening, who might have been you, or I don't know, what do you want your message to be?
I mean, I think it's just about, staying in alignment and having as much clarity as you can will really, really push you forward and give you the baby steps that you want towards your goals.
It would define alignment for people who.
So alignment to me means that, you're practical with yourself and you ask yourself like serious questions that might seem silly, but is my wardrobe in alignment with, who I want
am.
to be, who
Yeah,
I am.
Who I'm trying to portray to be.
Right. Is my mental space, what do I say when I'm alone? Is that in alignment with the person that I want to be?
Yeah.
So it's practical questions and it's being honest with yourself and it's being truthful
Yeah.
about where you are in whatever category that you, am I a good friend? Am
And
I
it's
a good
okay
daughter?
to be wherever you're at. You know what I mean?
Totally. And that's the first step and it comes quick.
Yeah.
That happened with me with Glow.
Yeah.
I figured out what it was and I got to work for a month. And then after the month, I met an agent. I didn't even know if he was going to sign me. 2 weeks later, I got Glow and then I booked Glow. But it just happens, and I went from
A lot of it's deciding too, right?
6-7 months. I had meetings and no one would sign me. And then I had to do that. I had to put myself back in alignment.
You fucking idiot.
Yes.
I bet all
Right?
those people were like, fuck.
Actually, I saw an agent at
That's
my
so
friend's
funny.
table read, and he was like, I knew you were going to book something. He was one of the ones that actually we hit it off, but he just had got here
Yeah.
to LA. He had a Chicago office, but and I was like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he did say that, so I'm like, if he thinks that, like,
Yeah.
I hope
I'm
the
sure
other
there's a lot
ones
of
are
other people.
watching. Like,
Yeah.
but
That's
yeah,
so
I went
funny.
6-7 months with, and then I, was practical. I put myself in alignment, and when I did that, I had clarity to act accordingly.
Because your head's clear.
Completely. So I
Yeah.
think those are two things that are super important to success is being in alignment, and then praying for clarity and having faith, and then you can act. But
Yeah.
just doing things and doing a lot and doing things that might not get you to the next step, that's waste of time.
I feel like a lot of times, especially in the arts, like people waste time on things that are not. What am I gonna wear? And yeah, a lot of that's important, but it's not as important as like the content in your head.
Prioritize.
You distract yourself from
Yes.
the real work.
And prioritize.
Yeah.
But if you tell me, it's all about perspective, right?
Yeah.
If you tell me that, this wardrobe is going to put me in the right mindset to do the best audition, now
Yeah.
we're talking.
Absolutely.
But it's not just being like, I'm going to do these things because I know that this is what, no, that's
Yeah.
no clarity. You have no direction. You have alignment.
Yeah.
So I think those two things and, perspective about the outcome, if it's a no, then it's
Yeah.
okay. Don't think of it as a no.
How is this gonna help you grow?
Yes, and you did, because you got in there and you did the best that you could do, because
that's
that's
it.
what you were supposed to do.
And
so
if
if
you
you
didn't-
didn't, you go back and you
Yeah.
check yourself
Yeah.
and you do it again.
Damn it!
Yeah.
Why didn't I do my best?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's being honest with yourself, right?
That's the hardest thing.
Because you'll
is
make excuses
people-
like, oh well, I didn't even want that part anywhere.
oh, they were going with someone else.
It must have been this, or it's because that person has a social media
because
following.
I
It's like,
straightened my hair.
Yeah. Get all that fucking mess out of your head. How can you be constructive?
Yeah, and
know?
how do you put things more towards your control?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I feel like so many of us put a mountain in front of us and
Yep.
we're like, how do we climb it? Instead of being like, all right, what are the baby steps that I could take right now that's in my control?
100%.
Boom. It's been an absolute pleasure, Shakira. See, it was painless, real quick.
Yeah. I feel
any-
like the coffee just kicked in. Can we start again?
We'll do another one. Fuck it.
I'm like,
Yeah, so we'll be back next week, ladies and gents. Thank you for being on, Shakira. You're welcome back whenever you want to talk about anything.
oh, you're
Let's
so
do
sweet.
this. So yeah, thank you guys. I'll see you later.